Cadillac's hit music station, 107.9 CDY. This is Cadillac Unscripted. We're going to take a break from the music for about a half hour, and we're going to talk about interesting things going on in and around the Cadillac area. Katy Huckle is with me right now. This is sponsored by Independent Bank. Last spring, we had Mary Galvanek on the show with us.
Firecracker.
And Mary proved to the community that she could, with her partner, rejuvenate the Cadillac Farmers Market. And she did it last summer.
I know it. Thank you.
And
You're welcome.
We will touch on that a little bit later on in the show, Mary, but we've got you on this morning. First of all, good morning.
Good morning to you guys.
Let's talk about Forest and Farm. I am all for anything that gets the kids off the couch, off their electronics, back into nature. It isn't enough. They don't get enough exposure to that out there. So can you explain what your initiative is?
Well, Forest and Farm is a nature-based children's program. We have 4 acres of forest and 2 acres of organic vegetable fields. We also have a sustainable protein program with our pigs and our chickens, and we'll have ducks and turkeys as well in the spring. And what we are doing is we are spreading the mission, spreading the movement that we should understand where our food comes from. And we should touch the food that we eat before it ends up in the store. We shouldn't buy absolutely everything from a store. It doesn't need to be packaged or processed. And this is something that I feel like this area can really benefit from. We've had a lot of fun doing it, about a year old now, and from radio to television to magazines, we are picking up a lot of traction out there.
Mm-hmm. A movement indeed.
Tell us about why you are so passionate about this, Mary.
Well, I was born and raised on a beef cattle farm right out in Hoxeyville, Michigan, and I grew up in a way where great-grandpa grew the tomatoes, and we grew the green beans, and our uncle had the cattle, and someone else would grow the chickens, and we all lived within a community and in a family, related or not. We shared our resources together out there in Hoxeyville, and it was really inspiring to grow up that way. I feel like we have lost a lot of that over the years from when I was a child to now. I would like to bring that back, and I think the mental health crisis that we are in currently from the pandemic and other reasons really is from the loss of that village and that community. Mm-hmm. And every time I invite someone to be a part of our community and our village at Forest and Farm, I see their hearts open up, their joy just grow profoundly. And so I know what I'm doing is the right thing. And I can tell there's a need for it out there.
Can you tell me what you're growing in your forest and your farm?
Well, our forest is actually a place where we're learning a little bit about conservation, and how to take something that is not great and make it something that is great, and just kind of clean up the world around you. So when we bought the property, the forest had many tires. An old church steeple was back in there, which if anybody knows why out there, I would love to know why there was a church steeple at 55 and Sealy Road.
Right.
There was just a bunch of junk out there, and so we've been cleaning it up. I'd say at least a dozen dump truck loads so far. We've almost got it all cleaned up, but now it's Scotch pine, which is an invasive tree. So we want to take down those Scotch pines and let our aspens mature, and then start planting within a permaculture style some native fruiting trees for our wildlife.
Okay. And on the farm side of things, what are you growing?
On the farm side of things, we're growing anything and everything we want because the seed catalogs are out, and that is one of my favorite times of the winter, is to sit around with a hot cup of coffee and a seed catalog and pick out all the great things. Lots of heirlooms, lots of tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, every vegetable you can imagine, but a lot of purple things, striped things, heirloom varieties, some fun and funky things that we probably haven't seen at the Cadillac Farmers Market before. So we're going to give our all.
Okay. So I have a friend that has a farm, and he told me, Katy, no one knows what to do with eggplant. So I guess my question to you is, when someone comes up to you at the farmer's market and you have, like you say, funky vegetables that maybe they've never seen, can you help people, talk to them about what to do?
I think that's one of the greatest parts of the farmers market, is that it's really what we're there for.
Okay.
We're there to speak to the community, to tell them how to better grow these same things we grow at their home in their gardens. We're really there for that advice. And people ask about them all the time. Okay. Farmers grow a few funky things as conversation pieces to bring people into their booths to get that conversation started.
Name a few of those funky things that attract people to the booth.
Well, I would say the Armenian cucumber is really interesting.
What separates an Armenian cucumber from a regular standard garden variety cucumber? The length of it?
They're very long and they're very like curly, and they have really stripes and a bunch of different textures and looks to the skin of them as well.
Do they taste like a regular cucumber?
Yes, and then also the lemon cucumber is a yellow ball. So people loved those last year. You can grow anything in a purple variety, from peas to broccoli to basil. And then I go crazy for pumpkins. I'm sure everyone who came to the Cadillac Farmers Market saw me carrying around pumpkins all fall last year. I filled our farm with them. So yeah, there's a lot of really great things that people can grow out there. And what I'm trying to do is not only provide them with vegetables and sell them the vegetables from our farm, but really teach them how to grow themselves.
I see.
Because that is where the movement is really.
I see.
You're looking at trying to build a self-sustaining population.
Yeah, I constantly joke about the farmers market that I'm trying to grow a local self-sustaining grocery store so that I can just buy all of my groceries right there and not have to go anywhere else. And that's kind of the fuel for all of the amazing goat cheese and honey and mushroom vendors that we're adding to the market this next year.
Well, and I know when people think of a farmer's market, they think of vegetables. But last year it became so much more than that, right?
And farmers markets really are. They are so much more than just vegetables. From the different types of vendors that you can have there, from also to the community space that is held to gather and to care about one another and share those smiles and give those hugs, and to remember that we are a community, that we are better together, and to just come out and see everybody who you enjoy to chat with.
Mary, I'm interested in how you make this interesting, and to children, and how you engage children in what you're doing.
You know, I really don't have to do anything to make it interesting.
Okay.
Give a kid a piglet. You know, you just...
No. Rich has lots of kids. Hey, Rich, give a kid a piglet.
It would be fun.
For a day.
The kids would like it.
Well, of course. Okay.
Well, not in the house, Katy.
Well, okay. But do tell. I mean, what does this mean?
Watch a child pull a carrot from the ground for the first time ever, and didn't ever know that that's how carrots grew before.
Okay.
Baby chicks, baby ducks, even the full-grown ducks collecting those eggs. I do not have to convince these kids to help out on the farm. My children do have chores, and sometimes, farm chores. I grew up doing them. They're not always super fun, but we sing, we dance. There's a lot of rewards on the farm too, for my kids as well as the kids in the program. And the children who come out for the first time are probably the most excited.
Right.
They're
seeing
fun.
things they've never seen before, Mary.
Oh, yeah. And they get to plant things and then come back week after week through our summer camp and say, wow, that's my Swiss chard. I planted that as a baby. And now there's these giant elephant ears of Swiss chard going to the market. And I did that. That's really big when you're 5 and when you're 6 and when you're 36.
You're giving me the chills because, like Rich said, we've been missing this. How did we miss this, Mary? Can you tell the community, our listeners, you've got quite a background. I mean, you've lived all over. So give us a little bit of your resume, where you've been prior to this.
Well, yeah, being born and raised on the beef cattle farm, my first job was selling Christmas trees out back of Galvanek's auto auction when I was 4. I baled hay through my childhood. I worked at the Coffee Cup restaurant at the age of 11 as their dishwasher.
Oh, wow.
And then had many jobs around the area working with children and local farms. But when I was 21, I went to Atlanta and to Florida and worked with children and farms there as well. Created a surplus basket system that took local organic surplus and dispersed it out to people who needed it through a basket delivery system. And then in Denver, I worked with children as well. And then I ran the largest inner city organic vegetable farm from seed to market, and that's called Golden Acre Farm. It's a great farm. Great farmer, Jay Plotkin. Learned so much from him. And helped out at the Denver Farmers Market as well. And then upon moving back here, I had been in a few places where that amazing community feel was. I had created that. I knew that I could do it. And I started searching for it here. And I couldn't really find it. So that's when I know it's time to create.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you for coming home.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. It's really beautiful. Seeing Michigan through adult eyes, being an actual Michigander again, it is so beautiful up here.
It really is.
What was the most unexpected surprise from taking over the farmers market last year? What something maybe that you didn't expect that you were delighted by, and maybe something that wasn't so good?
Well, upon taking over the farmers market, something that absolutely delighted me was this community.
Right.
The people here are amazing. They love each other. They want to lift each other up. They have, wrapped their arms around me, Forest and Farm, the Cadillac Farmers Market, my children, my mission. I just absolutely love this community, and that has warmed my heart for sure. And then something that I guess I didn't expect was sort of the loss of that community feel within this area. As a child, I felt it very strongly. And then upon moving back, I kind of felt a loss of that in this area where people were kind of more, I call it island people or island living as a joke. Yeah, they're kind of out on their own and doing their own thing. The hustle bustle of the everyday, I think, puts that into people's lives accidentally. But that's kind of why I noticed that the Snowmobile Festival wasn't as big as it used to be. The fair wasn't as big as it used to be. The Craft Beer Festival might not operate anymore. The Arts Festival just took a year off, but still that was a loss for our community not to gather there. I really want our community to have a place to gather. And so a lot of people recommended that I wait another year because of the pandemic. And I thought, well, that is the reason that I can't wait another year.
Exactly.
And we started right away, and watching the community gather every single week and grow bonds. I mean, it gives me goosebumps to think back on our market last year. Just a beautiful event for the community.
And I think everyone who has had a hand in organizing any festival, any event in Cadillac over the last 10, 15, 20 years will tell you that people are not as willing to get involved as they used to be, whether or not it's because people tend to sling arrows at those who are involved and or that we're all busy, which you mentioned that before. But in order for a festival, in order for an event, in order for any real great community thing to come about, it starts with a person. And it starts with a person recruiting others and everyone having that vision, shared vision of creating something cool for the community. And I'd like to see us get back to that. And you're doing the best you can at doing that, Mary. So we appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. And I'm having fun doing it. It's a lot of fun. I love to create. I really do.
I was thinking because she has all these kids, Rich, this is a very busy person. Does Mary sleep? See, this was the question. No, she's nocturnal. There aren't enough hours in the day to get what you need to get done.
I would love to tell you that I do it all by myself, but that is not true, actually. And anyway, I have an amazing team of people that help me every single day, from all of the grandmothers who live here to my amazing business partner, Emily Rupert, my hero of a husband, Alan Huckle, our marketing guru, Brandy Waltemeyer, our grant writer, Renee Shipton, all of the parents and families of the children who attend Forest and Farm, down to our pediatricians and our soccer coaches through CASA. Everyone has been so welcoming and so supportive that I just can't say enough.
Can you tell us the story of Emily Rupert and her horses?
Yes, Emily and I, say hi, Emily.
Hi.
Emily and I met through my cousin, Cody Jarvis, and we got to know each other a little bit. But my son, who was 2 at the time, really wanted to meet a horse. He loved horses. He saw them on TV. He had little horse figures, and I don't have any horses in our immediate family. I don't have any horses in our immediate family, so I asked Emily if we could go and visit her horses, and she was really gracious. She invited us over there. She let my 2-year-old sit on her horses and feed them treats and was just really welcoming. From there, I said, hey, Emily, you should probably come and work for me. Mm-hmm. You're really great with kids. And I convinced her to come and try out at Forest and Farm. She started working for us part-time and quickly just took on a full-time position. And when someone works as hard as I do, I know that right there is a business partner,
right,
not an employee. So
I see.
I very quickly made Emily business partner in Forest and Farm, and I am so glad that I did, because if I hadn't, another very smart person would have scooped her up.
I see.
Very quickly.
Emily, tell us about a day at Forest and Farm. What does it look like for you in terms of your job and your duties?
A day in Forest and Farm, to me, we play with the kids a lot. My favorite thing is watching the kids laugh and smile and interact with each other. I didn't exactly know what to expect when I first joined working with Mary. I grew up doing 4-H and lived on a farm and worked on a farm, and I went to school for environmental studies, and I care about the environment a lot, so I really liked what she was doing. And so when I became a part of it, I also wanted to teach the children the importance of taking care of themselves with our organic vegetables and eating healthy, and also taking care of the earth and what that meant for them and for the future.
Right.
And so we practice taking care of, we recycle and compost, and the kids love learning about the animals, and we partner with 4-H, and so we're going to do 4-H this year and teach the kids that. And so I love watching them connect with nature, and it makes me think back of my childhood and growing up and all the fun things I did outside, and then watching them play in the hay bales and run through the forest and build forts, and watch them connect with one each other, and not, like Rich said earlier, sit on a couch and be on their tablets, and they're learning how to communicate and team building skills and that kind of stuff. Really makes it all worth it, all the work worth it.
I'm hearing you talk, and I'm envisioning a point where you and Mary must have come to the realization that you were kindred spirits.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
They're smiling and looking at each other. It feels to me almost like there's been a gap, meaning both of you experienced this kind of thing growing up. And it's almost like you're looking into society today and realizing, where did that go? Mm-hmm. And you're bringing it back. Does it feel that way to you?
Yeah, I think so.
It's interesting because, Mary, you were talking earlier about how fairs are not what they used to be.
Right.
And I think the reason why, maybe I'm wrong about this, but fairs aren't what they used to be because kids aren't involved in agriculture as they used to be. That's what drove the county fair for many, many years. Am I wrong about that, or is that kind of what you see?
You couldn't be more right. I would say that 4-H and the MSU Extension, Misaki and Wexford Conservation Districts, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, those programs are probably the most excited about our outdoor classroom fundraiser.
Mary, tell us about the outdoor classroom.
Our outdoor classroom fundraiser is really gaining a lot of traction. We have a GoFundMe up. You can find that on our website, forestandfarm.us, or on our Facebook or Instagram. We also have, through our website, a merchandise fundraiser. So we have this amazing logo that Brandy made us, and that is going to a local screen printer, Jenny Hoagland and her daughter Gabby, and they will screen print you some amazing Forest and Farm merch. And through those two fundraisers, we are really starting to shop around for what type of outdoor classroom we would like to build. The outdoor classroom is going to benefit community members of all ages, 4-H, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, the conservation districts, MSU Extension. They would all be invited to borrow our outdoor classroom, as well as we would love to invite classrooms from local schools to come and have field trips on the farm and utilize our farm as an educational way for their students as well. So this outdoor classroom is really going to unlock a lot of opportunity for our community.
And I got to tell you, your location is centrally located, so you could bring Lake City in, you could bring McBain in, you could bring Manton in addition to Cadillac.
Right.
Yeah, I really do think that we could. The children at the ISD and the CTC and even the students at Baker College have reached out to us. So this is going to be something that our entire community can utilize to continue educating themselves and others on how to be sustainable, how to grow your own food, anything around animal husbandry, and the list goes on from there.
Okay.
Wow. Do you think that people, once they see how food is grown and the labor of love that it is farming, do you think we would be less wasteful of food? I have a friend from Great Britain who said, Katy, the portions in this country are so large and so much food gets thrown away and it's wasteful. Do you think that there's a heightened awareness once you get around folks like you?
I do think that when you grow your own food and harvest your own food, when you have a real bond with the animals that you then harvest and put on your table, that really does stop you from being wasteful.
Okay.
I do think that's true. Also, if you've ever canned anything, you know how long of a process that is. Or if you've ever raised a hog or a cow, for your kitchen table, you know how many hours and long nights and the snow and the rain and you're out there tending to your animals. That is not time to be wasted. Also, their sacrifice that they make to feed us, that's nothing to be wasted. Even the earth's sacrifice that it takes to grow that carrot. And then when you do plant that seed, weed that row 5 times, fertilize, right. And then harvest and clean and wash and finally get it back into your refrigerator, you won't waste it.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, we want everyone to be involved. We really do. If you'd like to come down and volunteer on the farm and learn how to grow your own, come on down. We'll put you to work. And we also have a really great summer camp series this summer. That'll be a 6-week series. And most of our summer campers are planning on coming back from last year. But we are going for our summer camp license, which will allow us to help more children this summer than we did last summer. And we should have some spots open there in the summer camp weeks. That will be about mid-June through mid-August. Also, come on down to the farmers market and purchase your food there. Come to our booth. Talk to us about our program. Everybody knows that the Cadillac Farmers Market and the Forest and Farm phone number is 231-920-2971. If you have any questions about our program or you want to be a vendor, you can go ahead and give that phone a call, a text, reach out to us through email email, forestandfarmllc@gmail. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. We are everywhere. So you Google
She's
us.
everywhere, Rich.
And a recommendation to all the parents out there, summer's coming up. If you are like me, tired of seeing them sitting on the couch and playing with their electronics during that 2.5 months that school is out, this is a wonderful opportunity.
And Mary, because it's February and because we have cabin fever, can you describe a day at your summer camp?
I sure can. A day at Forest and Farm Summer Camp starts out around 9 a.m. We have breakfast charcuterie, we call it. It's really just a little breakfast buffet of breads from Sarah Yoder, who is the Amish baker down at the farmer's market. She does all of our baking. And then local fruits and veggies are always out on the breakfast table as well. The children get to snack and then also play on the playground, which was a community build last year. It's a beautiful playground. From there, right around 10 a.m., we invite someone from the community to come and be a part of our program, whether that's the Misaki Conservation District educator or an MSU educator or an artist, a yoga instructor, a Mandarin educator. We have so many different themes to our weeks. Someone will come and do a 10 o'clock lesson. And right about noon, we have a farm-raised lunch. So that could be pulled chicken and veggies straight from the garden and bread roll. It's going to be very simple, and the children love it. They eat so much when they get to harvest it themselves.
Awesome.
And the afternoons are free choice. So if you love working in the gardens, that's where you're at. If the children love the animals, the chickens, the pigs, that's where they want to be. That's where they get to be. Climb a tree, that's fine too. They really get to choose what skills they want to work on, and we just help them do that.
I want to go to summer camp, Rich.
Yeah, you're going to have to change your wardrobe a little bit.
Well, you know what? I'm going to work with Mary on that.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
We've got some extra cover-ups for you.
Thank you. You ladies are doing important work. Thank you so much. It's a gift that you're giving to our kids, and the farmers market is a gift you're giving to the entire community. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Before we go, give us the phone number one more time and where folks can find that GoFundMe page.
So our phone number is 231-920-2971. You can find our GoFundMe link as well as the link to our merchandise fundraiser on our website, which is forestandfarm.us. You can also find those links on our Facebook page and our Instagram page. And I think that's about it.
We're looking forward to seeing where you take this in the community. Mary and Emily, thank you very much.
Well, thanks. We couldn't do it without you guys.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. Join us next week for more chat here locally and good things happening in the community, sponsored by Independent Bank on 107.9 CDY.